My name is Robert Langenfeld. I am a second-year senior, and I am a composer and arranger for Northwest Missouri State University. Well, I guess it wasn't like a position I exactly applied for. It was something that it started off with one of the previous band directors that he had heard that I had composed, so he commissioned me to write a version of the national anthem. And then the next year we got a new marching band director, and they needed help with transitioning, writing show music and whatnot. And so then he asked me to do it, and since then I've just been kind of like the go-to guy for new arrangements and helping out like the marching band and the concert bands. I actually started composing when I was about 12 years old. I had taken about, I think, at that point, about 6 or 7 years of piano lessons. And I noticed that a lot of the music had the same form. A lot of the music, was very Z-influenced. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I can start writing my own. And at that time, I was also learning how to play trumpet, and I wanted to write my own trumpet solos. So I just decided, hey, I'll give it a shot. Wrote my first trumpet solo, and turned out really, really good. My middle school band director at the time thought it was good enough to be published. I sent it off to a publisher in St. Louis, and the next day he had a contract in the mail for me to have it published through him. And ever since then, I've just experimented with other different stuff, and it's just kind of blown up into what it is today. I'd say I did a bunch of chamber works for a while, so that'd be like small group works like quartets, trios, brass quintets primarily. After that, I decided to brave into the world of concert band. Like I just didn't kind of ease into it. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go head first. And so I wrote concert band works for ever since then, and I've also done a couple of orchestral works and one or two choir pieces and a couple of jazz pieces. So I've tinkered with everything, really. Well,
Move away from it became.
well, what happened was my freshman year, I'm primarily a euphonium player now, and so my freshman year, nobody really knew that I composed that much. I was just doing my own thing, and I was like, well, I really don't want to ask them to play my stuff, obviously. But then my sophomore year, the old band director had found my website, and he had saw that I had gotten commissioned works and I was published, and that things were going really well for me. And so it was at that point that he approached me about writing some stuff, and I agreed to it. And I didn't. He went away. He didn't mention anything for a couple months. So I just kind of did my own thing, and then about a month later, he came back and said, "Hey, do you have that stuff done for me?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then, just from then, it's just kind of been associated like that. This year primarily, I was responsible for the drill, but the last year I did, we had something called the Senior Show, and what it was a show entirely designed by the seniors. Choreography, the drill, the music, the dance features were all designed by the seniors, and so I had been given a heads up about this in the middle of the summer, so I was able to write all the music for that. And then this year, the big thing that was going on was Gangnam Style. And so I was approached by the interim director of bands. He's like, hey, so this thing is kind of big on the internet right now, and I just saw Ohio State do a really awesome arrangement of it. Do you think you could pull that off? And I was like, I could do that. And so I spent about 2 weeks first trying to get the rights for it, and then after I got the rights, I wrote it, and the band's played it since. Getting the rights is not an easy process. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of channels you have to go through, and you have to find the right people. With Gangnam Style, it's produced by two different record companies. One in South Korea by Psy's Main, like his own personal producing company, and then for America, it's Universal Records is the primary publisher of that piece. And so I called my publisher and I asked him if he knew anybody at Universal Records copyright office. And he said that he knew one person. So I got in touch with them. They said they weren't the right person for it, but then they got me to the other person. And then I told them and explained to them what I wanted to do with it. And they said, that's perfectly fine with us, as long as, we get the royalty rights and, the stuff like that. And, all credit goes back to Psy eventually in Universal Records. And so I acquired the rights like that. And about a week later, I got a permission form in the mail saying that I'm allowed to write the song, and the B&B was allowed to play it, and we were good to go. I was pretty excited. I knew that this was, for my old high school, I really never got the chance except once, but when I found out that Northwest was really, really digging my compositions, it was really exciting for me because I had really a lot of respect for this institution and a lot of things that they've done awesome musically, and to be able to contribute to that was really amazing for me. When approaching a song that or a genre that I'm really comfortable with, it's not so much a matter of hours, it's a matter of how many weeks or how many months is this going to take me. And usually if I get a new piece and I know that I can knock it out, I'll usually dedicate maybe 3 to 4 hours a day for a solid week to 2 weeks. Just getting the groundwork out. But then after that, it's just based on when the material hits my head, like whenever I get an idea or like I know how to continue on with the piece. And so there's no real way to like judge how long it'll take me to write a new piece. With harder pieces like symphonies and concertos for like wind ensemble, they can take anywhere from 3 months to a year and a half to compose. So I have to be given massive amounts of heads notice. And so like if it's like a grade 5 work, or grade 6 works, which are considered the hardest works that you can play possible for wind ensemble, those works could take me for 3 to 4 minutes up to 7 months from start to finish product. So it's all based on the project. Not really. I'd say that people know who I am for the most part, and they know what I do. But in terms of like celebrity-wise, no. And do I ever want to be a celebrity? I would hope I want to get to that point. My goal is to get my music out there, is to, make sure that these creations I've made are being circulated, that, people are performing them. And then, it's a really great feeling to know that something that was in your head, a year or 2 years back was out there, it's out there getting played by other people and other people are getting to enjoy it. And like that for me is like the greatest reward out of that. Absolutely. It's probably one of the biggest joys to get out of life. It's most people ask me, is it like stressful for you to compose all this stuff? But in reality, when I sit down to compose, I completely everything shuts down. Like I completely relax. I'm in a state of mind that, if I'm having a stressful day and I go compose, it's a great way to de-stress. And it's really, really calming to me. So it's a really, really enjoyable experience. Well, recently I finished composing my second symphony, and I just had that recorded in Kansas City by the Northwest Symphonic Band. And future projects right now, I've got 3 major commissions 2 choir pieces and another concert band work. And I'm talking to another band right now they're in South Korea, and they're called the Sky Youth Wind Band. They're talking about commissioning me for 2015 for my 3rd symphony. So that's in the works, and if that goes through, then I'm going to probably start laying out the groundwork for that this summer.